Hey, in this video I'm going to show you how to customize your buttons, and I will also be showing you how to use the Draw 9 Patch tool. So let's get started. I'm going to drag in a button, and you can see we have a button right here and it has a boring gray background. Let's go ahead and replace this with a different and even more interesting background that I have on my desktop. Let me go to the desktop, and here I have an image which says candy.png, and this is the background that I'm going to use with the button. Close this and let me copy this. We're going to back to the Eclipse, and here inside the Robble MDPI folder I'm going to paste this because this image was specifically designed for MDPI devices, and here you can see it once again. So this is the drawable I'm going to use. And here and right for this button I'm going to set a background. Let me scroll down, and here in the view, clicking on the ellipses will take me to the reference chooser, from which I'm going to choose candy. Click on OK. You can see that I have the new background for my button. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stretch this button to fill the entire width. So let's go to layout parameters, and here for the width property I'm going to change this to match parent. And when I do that, you should have observed that the corners are getting stretched, not in the way that we want. The rounded corners are being stretched too much. And let's try to change the height property to match parent, and let's find out what happens. Click on the button, and here on the height property I'm going to change this to match parent, and you can see that this is becoming even more uglier. So the background is stretched widthwise and heightwise, but we are not in control of the stretching, and Android automatically stretches the background, and this is not what we really expected. So to make this even more easier, Android gives you a tool that is called as Draw 9 Patch, which allows you to specify the pixels that you want to stretch. And once I show you how to do that, you'll understand the idea behind it. Let's go back. Let me go to my desktop, and here I'm going to open the terminal. It's ready, and since I have the tools and the platform tools folder in my path, I'll be able to open the Draw 9 Patch tool by typing in Draw 9 Patch. Press enter. Here is the Draw 9 Patch tool that we're going to use, and this tool lets you to create a different type of drawable called as a 9 patch drawable. Let me show you rather than explaining about 9 patch drawables. I'm going to drag in this PNG to my Draw 9 Patch tool, and you can see that here, let me expand this. So here you can notice that once the image is stretched by height, you can see that the corners are being deformed, and this preview shows you what happens when your drawable is being stretched by width, and you can see the way the corners are also getting stretched widthwise. And the third preview image shows you how your drawable will appear when it is being stretched both by width and by height. And what we're going to do now is we're going to specify the pixels that has to be stretched, so that you can gain even more control when your drawables are being enlarged. So this is the work area, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can have a clear look at the actual drawable. And you can notice that we have one pixel around the actual drawable, which will allow us to specify the stretch areas. So the left and the top areas allow you to specify the pixels which has to be stretched. So let me go ahead and pick a pixel here. So this is one row that I have specified to be stretched, And I'm also going to specify a column that I would like to stretch, which is this. So now I'm going to show the patches. You can see that we have an intersection, and the pixel of this row will be stretched when we try to enlarge the drawable by height, and the pixels of this column will be stretched when you try to enlarge the drawable by width. I think you get the idea. So when we did not have these patches, you can notice that the drawable stretches uh, in a different way. That is when you stretch it by height, and this is when you stretch it by width. However, when we try to add some or specify some pixels that has to be stretched, you can see that the stretching is even more controlled. So that's the idea behind drawing patches. You can specify the pixels. You can also specify multiple pixels, and you can also specify whole areas by clicking and dragging. And when you do that, you can actually preview the effect of your stretchable pixels right here from the preview area. Also, if you want to remove the uh, stretchable pixels, you can hold to shift and click. That way you'll be able to remove the pixels that you have specified in order to stretch the image. And you can also specify the padding for this view, which is if you have a text, if you want to put a text right here inside this background, you can specify that area as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. Clicking on show content will give us a blue overlay, which will help us to keep track of the areas within which we want our content to be placed. So let me go ahead and specify the content area. You can notice that the blue area gets filled as I mark the content area. So this is the area within which the content will fit in, that is the text content will fit in when the drawable stretches. So this is it. I think we're good to go here in this area. And I can also specify the area where I would like to have the content in the y-axis. So this is the area within which my content will reside if my drawable stretches. You can see that on all the three images. The first one is when you stretch the drawable by height. The second one is when you stretch the drawable by width, and the third one is when you stretch the drawable by width and height. So we are done with this. Using this tool, you can specify the pixels that you want to stretch by marking them on the top and the left corners, and you can specify the content of the uh, view by marking the bottom and right corners. That's about it. Let's save this 9-patch image by going to File and Save 9-patch. And we're going to save this on desktop. I'm going to name this as Candy itself. Save this. And here you can see that we have the candy.png, which is the original image. And we also have the candy.9.png. This is the 9-patch image. And we're going to use this image now. I'm going to copy this. And let's go back to our Eclipse. And here I'm going to replace this candy image with the 9-patch candy image. You can notice that I have a candy.9.png and I also have a candy.png. You cannot have two drawable resources with the same name, although it has a .9.png extension. The resource name is still candy. So I'm going to delete this older image by right clicking and choosing delete. Click on OK. And now we have the new candy.9png. So you can see that we are now in complete control with the stretching of the image here. And this looks even more better when you use it on the layout. Let's go ahead and change the width property for this. Let's go to wrap content. And for the height, let's do a wrap content once again. And you can see that the stretching is very elegant. Let's go ahead and change the width property to fill parent or match parent. Click OK. So the stretching is controlled, and we did that using the draw 9 patch tool. You don't have to do any programming to control the stretching of your drawables. All you have to do is to open the draw 9 patch tool and drag in the image in which you would like to specify the stretch areas, and then just save it and use it in your project. And draw 9 patches work best with symmetric images. Your image should either be symmetrical horizontally or vertically, and not all images are best suited for 9 patches. Only images that have a symmetry either in the x-axis, which is by width, or the y-axis, which is by height, are good candidates for 9 patch images. So that's the idea behind 9 patch drawables, and if you have any questions on this, please feel free to ask. Thank you.